Hi, welcome back to My Mom Life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today we're making homemade sopapillas. Let's get started. Here are the ingredients that you're going to need. So I have 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of softened butter, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You're also going to need 3/4 of a cup of hot water, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then some oil for frying. So to get started, you're going to mix your dry ingredients, so your flour, baking powder, and salt, and just give it a good mix, and then you're going to add in your softened butter, and then you're going to take a fork and do what is called cutting in. So you're going to cut in the butter just to make like a fine crumb, and then we will go ahead and add in the water. Now this dough is not sweet. There's no sugar or anything to sweeten this dough. These become sweet because you dip them in cinnamon and sugar after you fry them. So I'm gonna add in the butter now and use my fork and just kind of mix it up until it is a little bit crumbly looking, and then we will add in our hot water. Now I am just going to start slowly adding in the hot water. Once I get it all added in, I will go in with my hands and knead this together until it forms a ball. But I like to slowly add it in, stirring with my fork until it is all added, and then I will go ahead in with my hands. I just think that it sticks less to my hands that way, but you can do it however you like. But I find that once you get it kind of incorporated, then you can go in with your hands and it doesn't stick so bad. So I'm going to do that, and then I am going to knead this in the bowl just for a few minutes until it comes together. So you just want to knead this together until it forms a ball, and if your dough seems a little bit too dry, you can add a tiny bit more water, and if it seems a little too sticky, then add a tiny bit more flour. I say a tiny bit because a little bit at a time is how you want to do it. You don't want to add too much, and then you'll completely mess up the dough. So a little at a time. Now that I have it together, I am going to form it into a ball and cover this bowl with a towel and just set it in a warm spot in my kitchen for about half an hour. While it is sitting and resting, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up my cinnamon and sugar so that it is ready to go after we fry these up. So I'm just mixing up some cinnamon sugar here. It is 1 cup of sugar to a teaspoon of cinnamon. You don't have to mix up this much. You could do half of this and it would completely be fine for this amount of sopapillas, but I like to store this in an airtight container and use it for other things. So I'm gonna mix this up and set it aside until we are ready for it. Now that the dough has been resting for a good 30 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and flour my countertop. Don't worry, I thoroughly cleaned it before doing this, and I'm going to roll this out into a rectangle. So I'm gonna go ahead and press it out with my hands, and then I'll get my rolling pin and roll it out until it is a rectangle. And you want it about probably 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. And then we will use a pizza cutter and just cut it into little squares or whatever shape you like, really. You could do triangles, but I just like to cut it into squares. It just keeps it easy. And I definitely like using a pizza cutter because it's way easier, but you could use a knife if you wanted to. So we're gonna cut these up, and then as I'm doing this, I have my oil heating on the stove in my cast iron skillet. That's what I always fry in, but you can use just a deep skillet. And you want about 2 inches of oil in your pan. So I'm gonna take these over to the stove and get to frying them up. So I have my oil heated up. You want it on about medium heat. You definitely don't want these to brown like super fast in your pan. If they do, then your oil is too hot. If they turn brown right away, they're not gonna cook in the middle. So they just take a couple minutes to cook, and then put them on a paper towel so that you can get rid of any of the excess oil. Here I am kind of showing you how they puff up. You want them to puff up like this because it creates kind of like an empty center where you can fill it with honey, and it's absolutely delicious. But here I am showing you how they puff up. I think it's pretty cool how they do that in the oil when you're frying them. So as I'm frying them, I am letting them sit on the paper towel for just a couple minutes until they are not too hot to touch, and then they're still warm, and I'm gonna dip them in the cinnamon and sugar. You wanna do this while they're warm so that the sugar sticks to them. Otherwise, it's just gonna fall right off if you let them completely cool. So I am kind of going back and forth from the stove to the counter where my sopapillas are and dipping them in the cinnamon and sugar. So that is what you're gonna be doing. And then once you are done, they are so delicious, and I'll show you them all fried up and coated with cinnamon and sugar. So here they are, all cooked and coated in cinnamon and sugar. They're absolutely delicious. I'm going to show you how I plate them here in a second, but first I wanted to show you what they look like on the center. I kind of tore one open so I could show you. They're completely hollow in the middle. They puff up like that, and it just, oh, they're so, so good. So to plate them, I like to put a few on a plate, and then I drizzle it with honey and powdered sugar on top, and that's it. They're so good like this. We love honey on our sopapillas. Let me know how you like yours. You could do ice cream or whipped cream would be really good. But yeah, we love our sopapillas with honey. I really hope you try making these because they're super easy to do. And we love these as a treat on taco night. I really hope you try it. If you do, let me know what you think down below. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you consider subscribing and sticking around. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. I will see y'all on my next one. Bye, guys.